How many lovers have you made today? Chapter 4, Part 3. Luna stands from her dais and walks all the way up to her sister, so they're face to face.
I told Spike everything about what happened in Ponyville. I turned her only support into a blade that would cut her so deeply that she would think twice about harming Anon ever again, and making her feel true despair, emptiness, and isolation.
Celestia's ears splay back, unbelieving of the vile words streaming from her sister's mouth.
However, my plan didn't work.
Luna looks away from her sister in shame, searching the stained glass windows depicting Equestria's history. The light itself draped over her, cloaking half her face in shadow, and revealed the mare's weariness in what was visible.
Anon found Spike, and in turn was forced to help Twilight. He was afraid of what would happen to the relationship between you and me if he were to ignore Twilight, and allow madness to take hold of and shatter her fragile psyche. So he covered up what happened, and even kept the full story from you.
A few tears trailed down her cheek.
Despite what I did, all he wanted in the end was to protect me.
Celestia tries to reach out to her sister, but Luna takes a step back, hiding herself in the comforting shade as the conversation with the nightmare from before grates at her thoughts. She's not like her. She'll never be like her.
That was not the sole reason for my actions. What other reason do you have?
Celestia asks, breathing deeply.
Tia, it's hard living in the shadow of my past. I try my hardest to move past it, and yet it incessantly looms, haunting me. The actions of Nightmare Moon were not my own, but she was a clear reminder of what I failed to overcome. Due to my own weakness, I allowed myself to fall from grace and into despair.
Luna locks eyes with her sister again, her tears having long since dried, leaving her eyes red and fur-matted.
I was afraid that Twilight would become what I once was. A nightmare.
Celestia is speechless at hearing this revelation.
Twilight. A nightmare.
Luna nods.
Consumed by her own feelings and need for forgiveness, it would have corrupted her given enough time. I saw the signs, and with that, I knew to strike at her with the fury I failed to bring upon myself. A broken mare is no less a puppet than a corpse is a body.
Luna looks down to the floor as she takes a breath to steady herself.
So, I broke her. Devoid of emotion. She'd be useless to any corruption. That was the plan, until Anon got involved.
Luna chokes back a sob.
I wanted to protect everyone, and instead, I nearly ruined everything we have created with him. If she were to become a nightmare, she undoubtedly would come from him, and I could not allow that.
Luna stomps her hoof in anger as tears rush down her face.
I'd sooner die than let Nightmare have him.
As Luna cries, Celestia's concern fades. She knew her sister disliked Twilight, but she never expected it to have gotten this bad. Celestia wraps her sister into a hug and lets her cry to herself. The past still haunts Luna, as it does Celestia, no matter what they try and tell themselves. But what she did was indeed wrong, and Celestia will need to address this.
I'm sorry you felt this way, Luna.
Celestia speaks gently.
Still, bringing Spike into this mess wasn't your call to make. He's a child, and I have spent many days trying to figure out the right words to explain to him what happened. Adding the fact you did this explicitly to harm Twilight is another issue entirely.
Celestia sighs as everything comes together.
Anon's story now makes sense. I'm happy it's worked out in the end, but now I fear the secret Anon holds are putting a burden on him. I'm not sorry for what I did.
Luna says with conviction.
I'm only sorry that Anon got involved. Luna, you need to stop this!
Celestia says with some anger as she moves back slightly to face her sister.
You are my sister. I love you! But if you insist on again going down this path of vindictive hatred, I'm afraid I cannot stay my hoof. I punished the elements for their crimes. If your terrible actions were to succeed in bringing Twilight to harm, you would have received no mercy from me. However, Anon has indeed saved you from this, as well as Twilight. I will help you through your plight, because you are my sister. But overcoming your fear is a battle you must fight yourself, Luna.
Luna pushes away from her sister, her eyes on the floor.
Twilight got far less than she should have.
Celestia looks away from her sister.
It's not entirely her fault. I have mishandled her teachings, focusing too much on educating her about friendship instead of pushing her to experience it first hoof. And that is why she is struggling against the tide right now. As such, I've kept my punishment light.
Celestia then faces her sister.
You know better, Luna.
Celestia takes a deep breath to steady out what she says next.
I don't want to see Anon hate you for what you've done.
Luna flinches at that, but doesn't say a word.
He's worried about you. About what having him as a friend does to you.
Celestia adds.
If you are to pursue your hate for Twilight, it will not end well for either of you. That much I can assure you. So let this lie, sister.
Luna allows this to sink in for her. Her sister's right, she knows that. But there's so much for Luna to think about. Can she really let go of what she feels? She doesn't want her relationship with Anon to deteriorate, but she also doesn't want him to be at risk due to her inaction. Luna takes a long breath in as she censors her thoughts. She'll follow Anon's lead. If he wishes to ignore Twilight, then Luna will do the same.
Very well.
Luna says.
I have a lot to think about. If you don't mind, Tia, I'll be on my way.
Luna walks past Celestia, but stops as she's taken into her sister's embrace again.
I love you, Lulu. I'm upset, but I still love you.
That calms Luna down considerably, as she rests her head onto her sister's withers.
I love you too, Tia. I worry. My hesitation allowed Nightmare to seduce me with her hollow words and has cost me greatly. I have no idea if the same will happen to your student, but it's something I fear. Don't worry. If it should come to that, we'll take care of it.
She held Luna closer.
Together. Yes. Together.
Luna squeezes her sister before moving away from her.
I have a few things I'd like to take care of. See you later, sister. Lunch with Anon.
The White Alicorn reminded.
I'll be there.
With all that said, Luna leaves Celestia alone in the throne room. Celestia doesn't know what to think, but there's one thing that's certain. She needs to ease Anon's worries. Blossom is giggling uncontrollably, unable to keep still. Stop moving! Anon shouts as he holds the wriggling captain firm.
I can't help it! My wings are super sensitive!
How did you talk me into this? Blossom tries her best to suppress her giggles as Anon works on her leathery wings. Perhaps he's being too tolerant with his friends. Bathing with them is one thing, but it's getting to the point where any pony that gets the chance will ask him to help with something on their body. Admittedly, Blossom doesn't have magic like the sisters, so it makes sense why she would need help. But it's the principle of the matter. If he doesn't stop now, who knows how many ponies will come asking.
It didn't take much. I have a feeling you secretly love washing ponies.
Blossom teases. I honestly don't care. It's you ponies that seem to enjoy being washed. Anon remarks. Blossom smirks slightly.
Are you sure you don't care? I think I feel something pressing against my flank.
Anon takes a moment to facepalm, some soap covering his face. Blossom, it's bad enough that you're in the bath with me. Just give me a break, alright? Anon pleads.
Just try to relax. I'm just having fun.
Blossom assures him. I know, it's just... Twilight is still on my mind, and it's so frustrating. Blossom, not moving from Anon's lap, spins to face him.
Well, doing the right thing doesn't always feel good.
She admits. As she examines his body, she pursues her lips, her wet hair falling over one of her eyes.
Here, let me wash you.
Anon exceeds, watching Blossom as she takes the shampoo, pours it on herself, and then gives him a big hug, moving up and down his chest. His face burns in a furious blush. Why do you have to be so weird all the time? He asks, his mind drawing blanks.
Because it's a distraction.
Blossom says honestly, as she looks up and smiles at him. Well, I can't deny its effectiveness. Anon chuckles a bit at the situation.
Sweeps was the same way. I'm glad I can help at all.
Well, it's appreciated, Anon admits. But seriously, get off, your fur's making me itchy. Blossom shrugs as she climbs off the grouchy human.
So, what's next?
She asks. Anon looks down at his body and can see Blossom's fur on him. What time of the year is it? Is she shedding more? Great, just great. Anon washes himself off before getting out of the bath. Get dried, dressed, then bed.
Going dreamwalking?
She asks. Probably not. Anon answers. Just wanna decompress.
I get you.
Blossom gets out of the bath as well and grabs a towel to dry herself. It doesn't take them long before they're ready and they walk out of the bath into Celestia's room. I don't feel right sleeping here when she's gone, Anon remarks. I'm heading to my room. Blossom doesn't say anything as she follows him. They make it to his room in a few minutes and walk inside. Blossom closed the door behind them. Anon doesn't even pause as he tosses the blanket halfway off the bed, climbs in, waits for a moment for Blossom to get in as well, and then covers them both. Blossom snuggles up close to Anon as he begrudgingly puts an arm over her. This is still weird, Anon states.
It's only weird if you make it weird.
I highly doubt that Blossom... who even does this? Blossom rolls her eyes.
Actually, a lot of ponies. There are such things as cuddle buddies, you know?
Anon raises a brow. Really? Blossom gives him a deadpan stare. I've never had that before. Now it's Blossom's turn to raise a brow.
What do you consider the sisters, then?
Anon shrugs. I have no idea. Weird?
Is that how you describe everything?
Yeah, when I don't understand something, it tends to be weird. I'm alien, Blossom. There's still a lot I don't know about this place.
I guess that's true.
Blossom lets out a yawn.
Ask me anything if you want, but for now, let's sleep.
Anon too yawns. Yeah, I can get behind that. Blossom smirks as she closes her eyes.
You already are.
Anon just shakes his head. Shut up, is all he says as he closes his eyes. I swear Blossom can make innuendo for days on end. God, I love that kind of comedy. Anywho, let's get on to our beautiful donators. Top donators are 630, BadassWaffle, Only One Thing, Ceru, Orion, IronSky, and Jessie Smith. Magic 109, Chuck TF, Chuck Side Raid, Narwhals, Black Moon, our Pastel Skies, also Nolan, Stu, Hex, Brother Mordred, Omicron, Lyra, Runeslap 9852, Will, Chris, Twinkie, Rysel, Shadowmoon, Luigi 88, Chancellor Crust, Big Smoke 369, Bobcat, GGF, Murder Princess, and many more amazing people. Thank you all so much for watching this video and live life to the fullest.